Hey YouTube, hey Bold and the Beautiful fans, who did Hollis see that fateful night at Il Giardino when the power was out? And we know that Hollis saw something shocking happened. And the rest is Bold and the Beautiful history. So who was it? Who is that mystery person who very likely could be the culprit in this summer mystery whodunit? So let's talk about the possibilities. Well, we saw Hollis that night. He was rummaging through Tom's backpack. He had found the letters, those letters that Tom had sent to Poppy. They were unopened, and apparently Poppy sent them back to Tom. And so the idea here is that whoever is doing this, whoever's responsible for the deaths of Tom and Hollis, there's someone who doesn't, or someones who don't want people to know the truth, maybe about Luna's true paternity. Okay, so somebody wants to keep that a secret. But who did Hollis see? Who did Hollis see that night? He was familiar with the person. He said, "What are you doing here?" Which implies that it wasn't someone that works at Il Giardino, because if it was Sheila, then Hollis wouldn't be surprised to see them. And Hollis also said, "I'm glad you're here because I want to talk to you about this too." So he seemed very familiar with the person, enough to want to maybe confide in them about what's going on with Tom's backpack. Okay, so there's plenty of different theories. Lee looks really suspicious. Of course, Poppy has a lot of motive, but there's a theory that's out there that's kind of a wild theory, okay? And I don't subscribe to this theory at all, but it suggests that maybe Luna could be the one that is behind all of this. Now, I don't believe that for a second. Luna is innocent and she's a very honest person. I don't think that she would be capable of doing something like this. Also, again, you know, whoever is the culprit, their character is basically destroyed, right? Because you can't come back from this type of scenario where they're going to be responsible for two very likable people and that, you know, responsible for their deaths. That's not going to be something that fans are going to forgive. So whoever this is, it has to be someone that's expendable to the show, okay? And I don't think Luna is that, okay? But the idea, the main basis for the Luna theory involves the idea that Luna and Hollis knew each other, okay? And that they hung out. Luna even mentioned that she would hang out with Hollis, okay? And so the idea that Hollis seeing this person, you know, in the darkness, the power's out, and they're walking forward, and Hollis says, "What are you doing here?" And then he says, "I'm glad you're here." You know, the idea is that Hollis was familiar enough with that person, and so that person would have to be Luna because Hollis knew Luna. But Hollis also knew Jack, right? I mean, there was an acquaintanceship there between Hollis and Jack too. So, and I'm sure Hollis knew who Lee was, and I'm sure maybe he knew who Justin was. But there's really nothing, no really compelling evidence at all that really points to Luna. But it is a theory. There's enough fans talking about Luna that it's something that I felt I needed to bring up, okay? But I don't subscribe to that theory, okay? But it's fun to speculate. And of course, Lee looks suspicious. Now, Jack too very much looks suspicious. We saw Jack telling Finn the other day that there isn't anything he wouldn't do for Poppy. There's also a theory, an idea that Lee and Jack are working together, and maybe they're trying to keep the real paternity of Luna a secret. The idea that maybe Finn could be Luna's real father, okay? And if the subject of Luna's paternity comes up and that it's not Bill, you know, and then there's another paternity test, okay, if Tom thought he was the father and those letters get out, then maybe people want to take another paternity test and ask too many questions, and maybe Lee and Jack don't want anyone to ask those questions, okay? So I guess that would be the kind of motive that they would have. Justin, I have no idea what his motive would be, you know. Justin was just kind of put in there, you know, and it was great to see Justin. I hope we see more of him, but you know, so far we haven't seen him again. Of course, Sheila has now been taken by Baker to the station for questioning, so it does look like maybe Sheila maybe Lee and Steffi are trying to railroad Sheila a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lee tries to frame Sheila, but whoever the culprits are, I think they're gonna frame Sheila because Sheila's, you know, an easy fall guy, right, for this. So, you know, because of Sheila's history, her track record, and they can pin this on Sheila, and then they get away scot-free, and nobody knows what happened, okay? I could see a scenario like that. Maybe Deacon's working behind the scenes to get Sheila maybe out of jail. If Sheila ends up in jail, I don't know if she will or not, but we'll see. But it's going to be interesting. Also, I want to point out that Steffi, Brooke, and Ridge will be traveling to Monte Carlo in a few weeks. So I'm wondering if this mystery storyline will be resolved by then or if it's going to continue, okay? But if it's resolved by then we could have a quick wrap up to this story in a few weeks. So we have to keep that in mind, or it can continue. But it's a lot of fun to see how this is unfolding, okay? But what do you think? Who do you think Hollis saw that night? Was it Luna? Was it his friend Luna that he was happy to see? Was it Jack? Did Jack show up that night, right? Because Hollis said that he's glad he's here to talk about Tom's backpack. Maybe Hollis wanted some legal advice on this situation and would ask Jack about that stuff because Jack, of course, is a lawyer. Lee being there, you know, is interesting. Poppy being there, I could see it being Poppy. But whoever it was, you know, what do you think? What do you think about the footsteps too? When the person was walking, there was kind of like a knocking sound, you know, when they were walking, maybe indicating that there was a heel, maybe like a high heel, or maybe they were just hard-soled, you know, shoes. But the footsteps are kind of interesting too. I don't know if that would indicate a man or a woman, either way, but it was interesting. But who do you think Hollis saw that night? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think it is? And of course, we're gonna miss Hollis. Hollis was great, and I'm glad that Hope had that flashback scene with Hollis, showing some scenes of Hollis through the years. We're gonna miss Hollis and Tom too, and hopefully there's no third victim. Okay, because Lee did mention something at the end of today's episode that. You know, if Sheila is taken away, then this can end, right? And there won't be any more victims, right? It was kind of ominous what she said. I'm just kind of paraphrasing there, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments who you think Hollis saw that night, that fateful night at Il Giardino. And hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.